Welcome back to Joe Stunner Boxing. Joseph Parker wins probably the most bizarre heavyweight fight, at least in terms of what precluded it. He knocks out Martin Bakole in 2 rounds with a single right hand. He's an orthodox fighter, fired the right cross, but it sort of came over the top, clipped Martin on the top of the head, and Bakole it was a delayed reaction. He sort of flopped back and then collapsed on his back with his legs in the air. Did beat the count, and Billy Nelson threw the towel in. Now, first of all, there's so many different intangibles here because Bakole came in at 48 hours' notice. He arrived in the early hours of fight day. God knows when he had a snooze. He must have had a sleep for 6 hours, maybe 7, 8 hours at the most throughout the day. Goes and then fights Parker, who's had a full camp. Obviously, the lack of preparation is, extremely palpable. And, to come in, they say we're saying he came in at 310, 315. He did have his clothes on when he weighed in at 315. So let's say 310. It isn't just the weight because he's naturally a very, very big man. I mean, clearly he is too heavy. He was 20 pounds, at least 20 pounds too heavy. He was 284, 285 against Jared Anderson. So he came in at 25, stone and a half, maybe close to 2 stone heavier. It's just not preparation. He didn't have a chance to, put together any kind of game plan, to do any studying. But he came in and he fought. It's prize fighting. It's a bit disappointing he went out so early because in the first round, he hardly did anything. Bakole just walked after Parker. Enormous belly on him. Parker himself is he's not a small guy, is he? I mean, what was he for this fight? 267, wasn't it? Which is 12 pounds more than he's been. Had that been Dubois in there, well, we'll never know, will we? But the thing is that Joe Parker, he fought very aggressively against a really big man. And he was kind of giving Bakole the opportunity to possibly even win the fight. Now, I know people are going to say, okay, it was a sensible semi-gamble. But Joe has gone from like his early career when he was trained by Kevin Barry to being an ultra-conservative, extremely cautious guy who likes to pinch rounds and, hit, not get hit. That is supposedly the art of boxing. He's gone from someone who doesn't mind having stand in front of people like Zhilei Zhang and Martin Bakole, who are much, much bigger than him. And yes, that indicates great confidence. And we all know that Joseph hits harder than his record suggests. He's now got 36 wins with 24 KOs. Probably if he'd let it hang out a bit more in the first half of his career, he'd have more stoppages and more KOs. And I think he would have at least done much better against AJ than he did. And he might have actually beaten Dillian White because he almost had Dillian out of there in the last round of their fight. But there was absolutely no reticence against Martin Bakole. I mean, he had a good old tear up with him. And at one point in the second round, when Martin was letting his hands go, was there a body punch in there from Martin? Martin was walking him down, but he was walking in straight lines. He's just too big to sort of, sidestep and give angles and all that sort of thing. And he was just too big. He was going to try and walk the guy down, and he walked onto a big right hand. He was slap bang on the line in front of Joseph. Joseph couldn't miss him. But prior to that, mere seconds before that, he did appear to be getting close to Joseph. Joseph had a bit of blood coming out of his nose, no big deal. But, you were thinking this could develop into an interesting fight. But it wasn't meant to be. And Joseph Parker moves on. And now, has the Dubois fight been postponed? Or is it cancelled completely? A lot of people are saying that, Dubois will go and have a rematch with Usyk again for an undisputed title in terms of the belts, because Dubois has still got the IBF belt. I would like to see a reschedule in Dubois versus Parker because I think that's a really interesting fight. It's the one I was looking forward to most on this card. Credit to Bakole for coming in and saving the day. I hope he got paid well, more than the 475 grand that they were saying he got. I hope there's a zero on the end of that, because he fucking deserves it, saving the day. Parker got paid serious money as well. It was a strange one, wasn't it? It was a very, very strange turn of events. But they could have just said, "Oh, right, well, we'll remove that fight from the card," and the card would still have been incredible. But no. They worked hard, the excellent Turkey, and who else was it? Warren and Eddie Hearn, all the rest of, all that lot that are involved. They all worked hard, and they got a fight on, and, okay. I'd like to see Martin Bakole, what he's going to do now, because he clearly needs to lose about 25 pounds. And he's 33 now, so he shouldn't have too much trouble taking off some of the weight at least. But he did have a fight in May scheduled with F.A. Ajagba. I hope that fight is still on, because it's still, 3 months away. And if Martin can go back to, I think it's Airdrie in Scotland, is where he trains, get himself together, sort himself out physically, come up with a proper game plan, have a proper camp with Billy Nelson, and then take on Ajagba, I think that's a very, very interesting fight as well. 2 African guys going at it, one from the Congo, one from Nigeria. Yeah, big hitters. That'll be a good fight. And we might see, the real Martin Bakole, or shall we say, the prepared Martin Bakole, hopefully, with that fight. Because taking nothing away from Parker, this was in no shape or form a prepared Martin Bakole, who, by the way, he slips to 21 wins with, I think, 16 KOs, and he's got 2 defeats, 2 stoppage defeats. But yeah, what did you think? Let me know what you think. As usual, I'll read your comments. Thanks for listening in. Subscribe to the channel if you're new, and hit the like button as well. And we still got the big one to come, the rematch between Bivol and Beterbiev. Not a bad little night's boxing, this. I could kind of get used to this. Catch you later.